All right, so please, thank you for attending. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States. All righty. This is really great to see so many people here. I know we're here to celebrate several things. One of the best meetings of the year is when we get to celebrate all these lovely things. All right, but before we do, I need a motion to start the district-wide safety plan public hearing.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. This is an annual requirement. The plan has been posted on the district website since May 21st, 2024 for public review and will remain posted for a 30-day period. That 30-day period is over, but we're going to leave it up because technically it has to be posted anyway. The board will be asked at this time to review the plan. We have been prior to June 25th and adopt the plan at our annual July 9th organizational meeting. So we are here to do a public hearing on this. It has been posted. Does anyone have any comments or questions, either from the board or from the public, related to the safety plan? Okay. There's no one online. Very good. Okay. With that being said, board members, we have no questions. Okay. Can I have a motion to approve the district-wide safety plan?
Motion.
Oh, sorry, am I doing? Oh, that's July 9th. Okay. All right. So it is on our meeting. Please finish reviewing it if you haven't, and we'll move from there. I need a motion to adjourn the district-wide safety plan hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. May I have a motion to approve tonight's present agenda?
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Are there any questions on that? Okay, at this time, we will open up for public comment. Mark, I saw your name go on there. Go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mark Connolly, and I'm speaking to you tonight as the Chatham Teachers Association president. On behalf of our unit, I would like to congratulate all the retirees that are being honored tonight, as well as our colleagues who are being recommended for tenure, and also our wonderful students who are being recognized. Jenna Palubekis for her commitment to this district while serving as the student representative on this board, and to the boys varsity baseball team for giving us another wonderful spring and a great group of young men to cheer for. And I'd also like to thank Chris Spencer and Beth Hover for their dedicated support of our district over the years. You've been valuable members of the board, I know, and you've been willing to listen to our concerns. So I appreciate both of you, and good luck in your future endeavors. So thank you very much. I wanted to address the board this evening as we close out the school year. CCSTA was greatly appreciative of the transparency and trust shown in us by allowing us to be a part of the process in choosing the new superintendent and high school principal. We hope that the same process is followed for the hire that will replace Dr. Rood, a hire that is of tremendous importance to the faculty and students of this district. And I want to thank Dr. Rood for her service here in Chatham, and good luck in her future endeavors. Next year is a turning point for our district. New leadership is coming in, and we look forward to working with them to continue to improve the quality of education we can provide our students. But it is not the change in leadership that I'm worried about. I'm worried because, once again, on tonight's agenda are the acceptance of more teacher resignations. This has been an ongoing issue for the past several years, and I know for a fact that many that have resigned, actually most that have resigned, didn't want to actually leave Chatham, but had no other choice. When I began my career here 28 years ago, nearly all of my veteran colleagues resided within the district. Their kids went to school here, and they retired from here financially secure. That is just how it was. It created a wonderful sense of community, and I believe that it was always going to be that way. It really is no longer the case. Chatham teachers no longer feel that financial security. New and veteran teachers not only cannot afford purchasing a home within the district, but they often struggle affording rent in places like East Greenbush, Malatia, and Rensselaer. We recently surveyed CCSTA members and found some alarming stats. Nearly 60% of our members have looked for another teaching position in the past 5 years, including many long-standing veteran teachers. And really, in every case, it was all about citing pay as the reason. Nearly 50% of our staff say it is an economic necessity that they work a second job. Those who don't need to have a spouse or significant other that can supplement the family income. Cost of living has quickly outpaced and outdistanced our salaries. I am not trying to sound all doom and gloom. Chatham is a wonderful place to be a teacher. We have really good kids, a supportive community, enrichment opportunities abound, and the most dedicated colleagues anyone could ask for. Well over half my life has been spent working in this district, and the people I have encountered along the way have helped me make the teacher and the person that I am today. This is where my family started, where I have developed lifelong friendships with administrators, staff, and former students. But with that, I can honestly say that next year is the most important year we have faced as a district in my 28 years. We cannot sustain the number of outstanding educators we continue to lose to other districts, nor can we sustain the angst amongst the veteran staff who are beginning to worry more and more about their financial well-being deep into their careers here. Something has to give. We heard this past year how the district has smartly saved money over the past several years, creating reserve funds for the future for, quote, rainy days. In my opinion, step one next year, the turning point year, is for our district to make us, the teachers, their rainy day priority. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. As a teacher myself, I can tell you that I feel deeply and understand inherently and intrinsically the needs and financial restraints of our current profession. Are there anybody else for public comment? Sally, anybody online that wants to? Nope. Okay. All right. Again, thank you, Mark. Speaking of that, the celebration, we're going to start with our tenured teachers.
Thank you, Mr. President. Please afford me the opportunity to stay here close to the microphone. It's respectful for our teachers that we're granting tenure to. We do have several teachers and teaching assistants tonight. We do have certificates for you, but as you might recall, we present those on opening day, and we'll have the new superintendent do that. So tonight is an opportunity for us to recognize the hard work and dedication that these employees have given to the Chatham Central School District. So I'd like to recognize Tom Gazda, science here at the high school. I think Tom is here tonight. I'd like to recognize Sabrina Pravel, remedial reading. She's in the back waving to us. Sabrina, congratulations. Maggie Hamilton, and she's back there. There you go, Maggie. Martina Martin. Martina with us tonight. Thank you. Nino Fusco. Is Nino with us? And she's back there. Congratulations. And rounding out our teachers receiving tenure is Sandra Miller. As well. And before I move on to the teaching assistants, I just want to thank all of you who've come out tonight, because we don't always have teachers attending and receiving tenure. So we really appreciate you taking the time on your schedule and the support of your colleagues as well. And in terms of teaching assistants, we have Sarah Casanova, Lori Jackson, and James Dorado. So, again, our heartfelt thank you, for, the caring and, compassion you give to our students every day here, in Chatham. So thank you and congratulations to all of you.
I understand that there will be certificates, but they wait until next year, right? First day.
Right, we'll recognize you again for your efforts.
Okay, now we'd like to recognize the 2024 Chatham Boys Baseball Team State Champions.
So Scott, if you could come forward. And in short form, just a bit about leadership. Scott always puts his players first and in front of him. But we all know that Scott and his other coaches are the driving force behind these young men, the character that they're building and athletic skills. And we couldn't be any prouder. It's so incredible to have repeated for Chatham. So on behalf of the Board of Education, the administrators, the entire community, how about one with three fingers too? I said three fingers. Thank you, Coach. Thank you, boy. So, if the team would turn around for a second, something that is so long overdue, and we don't want to also take away from the girls who did the same thing in 2012, but finally, what you're seeing on the screen here, as soon as Mr. Chuddy cuts the purchase order, and we will make sure that we add 2024. We finally took that little sign down near the electronic sign, and we've had the sign company in the process of producing this sign, which will gladly be proudly presented in front of the high school. So kudos to all of you. You have a sign to represent your accomplishments. So thank you again, and have a great summer. And we greatly appreciate the pride you brought, Chatham. Oh, John, please. I did not know that.
Never been
The bad news is the board meeting's only an hour and a half long. So, no, but we thank you. Okay, that's it. No, I meant you had to stay for it, but no, well, we appreciate that.
All right, congratulations, boys. You'll have this one forever. Well, we have talked about this for in a number of ways. Have been in a number of conversations around it. That sort of program right there starts at the Little League level. Starts when they're 5, 6 years old with volunteer parents and volunteer coaches. But it also starts in the classroom with kindergarten teachers and pre-K, first grade, all the way through, supporting them, giving them a sense of pride, a sense of honor. And Mark, I'm going to echo what you said earlier. We love our teachers because they produce students like that. All right, now we have the student representative recognition. So Jenna, not only have you served the board so well in everything you've brought to us, keeping us aware and informed as we go. Just got valedictorian, so. there's that.
Again, also on behalf of the district, I was with you at the National Honor Society and you spoke at the moving up ceremony for middle school. So thank you very much for also taking on those leadership roles within the district.
All right. Yeah. Why she's so quiet right now. All right, and then, hard to say this, but I'm especially honored to be able to recognize our two board members who are no longer going to be with us, serving the community. You guys have done a great job with us this year and for all the years that you've served. This is a big year for us, and we would not have made the choices we made. We would not have had the relationships on the board, and we would not have had such really seamless successes without the two of you. So thank you so very much. Chris? This is Perrier. This is one.
Friendsgiving situation. Just my heartfelt thanks to both of you as well for being wonderful board members and always allowing the superintendent and the admin team to manage the district. So thank you both.
Yeah, it's a
Oh,
little dense.
Okay, sorry, I won't get as close to it.
Yeah, it's a little.
How's that better?
Okay, and now for the honoring of our 2023-24 retirees. Dr. D'Angelo did ask if he could be the one to do this, so I will graciously give him the honor.
Thank you. So just as our tenured teachers were at the beginning of their career, we have several long-time employees who are wrapping their careers up with us. And so we want to take some time to honor them this evening. So this is a different order than I have here. So I'm going to go by my list and then we'll hand out some certificates because those we do have with us. So I'd like to recognize Ann O'Neill for 16 years in the district. I don't know if Ann is with us, but thank you very much. We have Edwin Taylor, who was a custodian with us for 36 years. We have Peter Hellmark, who's a building maintenance worker for 28 years. Melissa Blass, one of our bus drivers, 21 years. Barbara Eichenbraut, a bus driver, are you ready? 55 years. I remember on opening day 5 years ago, we recognized her with a plaque for 50 years. So Barb is probably one of the longest time employees I probably can imagine. And then Dennis Lashway, our building maintenance mechanic, 21 years with the district. We have Lucy Pratcher, teaching assistant, 14 years. Kim Layton, one of our secretaries, Ms. Kim Brown, congratulations, 20 years with us. Lisa Toomey, our speech and language pathologist, 28 years. And I know Lisa's here. Karen Gilligan, teaching assistant, 20 years. Diane Hammond, also known as my right arm, 7 years in the district. Thank you, Diane. Lester Tysky, another building maintenance mechanic with us, 18 years. And last but certainly not least, Mr. John Thorson, our high school principal, 30 years of service.
These names mean an awful lot to me personally. I don't think that my boys would have been able to find their way into the school if it wasn't for Ann O'Neill. I wish she was here so I could thank her personally for allowing them to actually get into some aspect of their life. But just as importantly, John, as you. I don't know how many times I had to call you over so many things. And I've got good boys, man, but I share some of them with you. Okay? Always will. Dr. Rude, you're not retiring, but you are stepping up. And from what I understand, you're stepping into a really complex district, buildings all over the place, leadership everywhere. I know you can do it. Years ago, during COVID and some subsequent things that I went through, you were exceptionally helpful to me personally. And I'll always enjoy you for that. So if there's anything. Last but not least, Sal, I said some things about you the other night, meant every one of them. I think that at a time in our history, our staff, great staff, felt traumatized, felt put upon, and didn't feel appreciated, that's for sure. You brought us a sense to this district where everybody here mattered. And I know that they're here for their colleagues, but I also feel like they're probably here because you do matter. You made them feel really like they were part of our system. You gave them voice and agency, and that's just part of your character, man. I really, really have learned so much from you over the years, and I greatly appreciate the leadership you provided to this district.
Thank you.
All right. That's so nice. I love that. They're awesome. All right. Now we're up for board comment. Any board have any comment? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just gonna, I don't know, there's a lot to say, but I would just start by saying to Sal, thank you for your efforts, your detail, your focus. There were lots of times that I felt like, this district was in need of leadership, and you were there to provide it. And I think we all, whether we realize or not, truly appreciate it, and I certainly do. And I just appreciate your dedication and ability to somehow, there were many meetings where we would ask you a specific question or something, and you could rattle off every little detail about what it was and what was going to happen, or what could happen, or why something might not happen. It really impressed me, and I think we all were better for it. So thank you for that. And for me, I really loved being on the board. I know that the board is in great hands with the board, the new superintendent coming on. Very excited about that. And I just wanted to say thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Anyone else?
I think enough's been said. I could personally thank a lot of people tonight, but you all have my heartfelt thanks. So enjoy your summers.
Beth?
I'd also like to thank the board and Sal for the many wonderful years I've had here, and actually a lot of the staff out there. I taught with you many years ago, and I loved working with you then. So after 35 years, it's kind of teaching and 8 years on the board, it's time to stay home and not come flying in here at the last minute like I did tonight. Because we had graduation at 9:30 in Boston Spa, and then we had daycare all day. And got home at 10 after 5.
Well, we will miss you and Chris for sure. Okay. Now we're down to business. So if anybody needs a moment, you're welcome to stay, but this would be a good moment. All right, we're gonna do the MED year-end report. Ms. Reno. Okay, we'll give you guys a second. Yeah, we'll wait a second. You can stay if you want to, but
Okay, all right.
the fun stuff is over. Now it's down to business.
Yeah, Deb? Kristen, could you also grab Jenna's microphone? Could you grab Jenna's microphone too? Just have two. If it reaches, we'll do two, and then for the folks at home so they can hear you. Just bring those a little closer.
Okay, so when Sal asked us to make our presentations, we were originally, I went in and said, so like 15 minutes each, and Sal shook his head, and I said, so like 10 minutes each, and he said, how about 10 minutes total? So this is going to be, because it looks like you have a very big agenda, so we're going to kind of condense this. One of the things that I can say is that I'm really excited to, which typically I wouldn't say, but I'm really excited to present data from this year at our big fall data presentation. I've got some excellent English language arts and math data that is excellent. So I'm really excited to show that to you. Just some academic highlights from the year. I continue to work with our literacy coach, who I believe is here. I think I saw her, Lindsay Ristow. Wow. Give a round of applause. That's nice. She's amazing. She really has, I appreciate the board so much implementing that position. She is in every classroom helping with whatever needs to be helped with. She's amazing. So I can't say enough about that. The entire AIS team deserves a shout out. They worked with one person down this year. Kristen Van Note ran that math department like nobody's business, and she's an expert in her field now. So I really want to thank them. We spent a lot of time this year talking about DEI, and we had two teachers who stepped up to the plate and created DEI lessons for our primary teachers and our secondary teachers. And so for pre-K through third grade, that was Allie Kolb. I don't know if she's here, but she did an excellent job once a month doling out lessons to make sure that our students understood diversity, equity, and inclusion. And then Stephanie Lineberry did the 3, 4, 5. So shout out to them. Connie Reichert, who's here, amazing job with science this year. Every time I walked by that classroom, there was something going on that was super exciting. So I just can't wait to see what happens in our building moving forward for the future. I'm going to skip over a bunch of stuff here because I know I'm running short on time. John Rolson, who's not here, amazing dean. I can't say anything else about him. He's just awesome. I want to thank our faculty. They're compassionate. They're committed. They're committed to caring about our students emotionally, about them academically, and there is no faculty in the world, with the exception of probably middle school and high school, that I could compare them to. They're awesome, and I can't say enough good things about them. I just am really looking forward to next year. You know, we're on a track to do some really great things. I feel like I do feel personally that with Lisa and Dr. Rude and Dr. D'Angelo leaving, that's going to be a huge hole. And we're going to have to fill that hole the best we can, but we're going to feel the effects of that for a while. So thank you both very much.
All right, I'll be quicker than her.
No need to be brief. I don't want to shortchange you.
So I just want to start off by acknowledging that the end of the year has been quite hectic at the middle school with Arbor Day, graduation, dances, 3 class trips to New York City and Boston. But those are all the traditions the people before me have come, and it's what makes our building so awesome. So it's been hectic, but it's well worth it for our kids. And for those of you guys that came to graduation, it's really impressive to see the community come out. And I'm really proud of my staff. But every year after May 1st, it feels like we are running a marathon in a matter of a month, and I couldn't do it without my staff. So I want to echo what Kristen said and what everyone has pretty much shared today, that our staff is phenomenal and we can't do a lot of what we do without them. So I just want to say thank you to my middle school staff for all that. So to give a brief academic update, we just wrapped up our finals. Grades were turned in today. Some of the highlights, I want to give a shout out to our science department, which seems like will only get a little better as Connie continues to work at the elementary school. Of all of our eighth graders who took the Earth Science Regents this year, we had 100% pass rate, all of them at mastery level or above. So I want to give a shout out. So that's for Kachi Ladd, Stacy Gazda, and for Meg Perry. So I'm very proud of that. I just got those scores the other day. I also want to give a shout out to Miss Cusco, who's in the back. Her final for Spanish 1 was completed today, and I'm proud to hear that every student in eighth grade who took the final passed, which is phenomenal as well. I do not have my algebra regent scores from Miss Keller, but I will share them when we do get them. I'm sure they are on par with how we usually do. I also want to give another shout out to the science team. They implemented the CBT testing in science this year. So we'll look at those scores when we get back. It was a first year. There's lots of feedback on that exam, but we'll tweak our program accordingly. Overall, if I just glance over the iReady data and kind of try and sum it up, it seems like we're making some progress at the middle school with our students who are on grade level and maybe a grade level below. We still got some work to do with our students who are struggling a little more, 2 to 3 grade levels below, but we'll continue to tackle that and I'll keep the board up to date on those progresses. I also want to kind of give a shout out to the community and to my family members, not my family members, my parent members. We had so many we had so many volunteers for so many different things. The chaperones for the trip. I had so many eighth grade families cover the dance and help me out with the award ceremony. I'm really appreciative of those parents that stepped up. We had mock interviews that parents were involved in. We have some parents who are part of our mentoring program, and we have career days that come in, and our parents continue to come in and work with our kids. So I'm appreciative of all the parent involvement and like to continue to see that grow as we move forward. As usual, I want to give a shout out to our music program. As usual, they did phenomenal at NISMA and All County, and they continue to put on a strong program. If you've gone to one of their concerts, they continue to knock it out of the park. I'm super, super appreciative of that whole team. I want to acknowledge our guidance and our counseling staff who continue to put on a great SEL program in the middle school, offering all sorts of opportunities for our kids and for our students. I also got to give Brian Simon and I guess John a little bit of a shout out too. We did not have a school psychologist in our building full time this year. We were unable to fill that position, and the high school shared Rachel Trank with us, and she made it through, but she was able to help carry our guidance program along with Miss Busa and Miss Hoffman. So we do have a new psychologist coming next year, but they deserve some credit because they carried a load this year. It's been phenomenal. Overall, it's been a great year at the middle school. I look forward to building on our successes and continue to address the areas that we can improve on. So thank you.
At the high school, start off with saying that all of our seniors made it to graduation. Thank you. Have a good day. Well, that's in thanks to some late wake-up calls, some Herculean efforts from our faculty and staff, especially our senior team. The amount of time and effort they put in working with our seniors the entire year, I think is a big reason why I'm able to see that tonight. So I thank them very much. We started the year off with a big change that I think people were very concerned about with the cell phones. And it was all much ado about nothing. I think our students were wonderful with it. Our faculty and staff were committed to it and consistent throughout. And I think that's why it was successful. So very happy with that. And I think it paid off dividends and will continue to do so. Academically, we're getting the Regents exams in now fast and furious. We haven't broken them down yet. I'm sure that information will be presented to you another time. As always, we've got some areas that we need to work on, and we have some areas that I think we did outstanding. But once that's all broken down and some comparative data is put together, I'm sure that will be in your hands shortly. We had a great year on stage. As usual, our concerts were well attended, and the performances were fantastic. But specifically, the last I wasn't able to attend the outdoor show, the outdoor concert at the end of the year, but the last one in the building for the high school was amazing. One of the best concerts I've ever seen. So congrats to our students and our faculty and staff on that. Shakespeare and Company, Much Ado About Nothing was a great show. The musical Little Shop of Horrors was fantastic. Great attendance, casting crew, characters. It was fantastic. As always, I enjoyed those immensely. Another successful robotics season. Actually, this season we had, and Sadie, I don't know if you want to, we had one student that actually went on and went further. I don't know if you want to just quickly just mention that. Jan Henschy.
Yep, he's a junior. He was the Dean's List finalist at the Tech Valley competition and then went to the championship in Houston, which the district was so gracious in providing monetary support for that as a Dean's List finalist.
So that was fantastic.
Yeah, it's a great honor.
Thanks for taking that on every year, Sadie. And athletics, 14 out of our 18 teams were named Scholar Athlete teams this year, including all 5 in the spring. It's a pretty remarkable accomplishment. We had Maddie Waring in cross country made it to the state meet in the fall. Our girls soccer team made it to the sectional semifinals. Our girls softball team made it to the June conference champions. In tennis, Alex Schwab was the June conference champion. And our baseball team was here today, 3-time sectional champions, 3 times in a row regional champions, first time ever, 3 times in a row New York State baseball championships. Just an amazing accomplishment. We made a decision to graduate indoors tomorrow. The good news is that it will not be 88 degrees. And at this point, we are able to accommodate all extra team. So at this point, no one's being left out. That is my report. Any questions?
So you could ask questions and there'd be plenty of time. So.
I'm curious if there's a time in living memory when we had all of the all the
3 years.
Yeah.
what 3 years ago during COVID.
But that was with the benefit of COVID help.
That was a special year. Yeah.
Especially.
It's happened before. About at 10, we're about down 5 couple months. But they make up calls.
I'm looking at your senior team and good job. You guys look exhausted though.
I have a question about, you brought up the cell phones and I'm interested to hear, how would you characterize the general sentiment from maybe start of year to, now with the
It's
kids?
almost like it's a non-issue now. Started off, we had so much anxiety about how this is going to go. To be honest with you, very low percentage of even second-time offenders. But we had some, but I think because we communicated so well over the summer before the school year started, and that also started with a think tank that included, faculty and staff, administration, put some meetings in before the end of the year, over the summer, to put that in place. So I think that the advance notice was huge. Communication, follow through and consistency with teachers, administration, and then I think just the cooperation with the kids. Once they understood what we said, it really was fairly smooth. I'm not sure it should be this way or this way, I don't know. But it was much, it was discussed frequently throughout the year, how much less distraction there was in class, and how much more social interaction we saw in many years about the school. And by the end of the year, really, we didn't talk about it anymore.
Are you using,
Oh, go ahead.
are you using our chairs tomorrow or do we rent them?
If we're indoors, no, those are our chairs.
Those are, okay. So we use them.
Last year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we just got them, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but I wasn't sure we were actually going to use them.
They're out in the field, ready to go, but.
We're moving them in?
The forecast is too close. It's 50% at 6 o'clock. Goes up from there. So I think it's especially considering not leaving it back out. Easy decision to decide.
It'll be a wet parade.
Like you went,
Yeah.
bring your shot. Bring your umbrellas.
So something Chris has said, and you hit it, you opened up well with it, and that is, that's a critical year, and I think Mark echoed that too, from two different perspectives that support our students and our community to such a degree. The future, the next year is going to be critical. It's going to be pivotal. It's important, and this is really for the whole teaching staff, all of our parents and all of our students. We can't replace these folks. We're not asking people to step into their shoes. That's an impossibility. John's here 30 years. He has literally had all three of my children, my oldest being 29. And hi, Miss Hoppins, he's smiling. Yeah. Yes. So. And Sal, and when he came and what he's done for the district, we're not looking to try and build on what you've done. You've done what you've done, and it is built. It is sturdy. It is foundational, and it is lasting. We will be under Andrew, under Miles, and whomever else comes in. We will be building the next level, the next tier, if you will. We're building our way up on this one. But I don't want anybody to mistake. There's no replacing. There's no coming in and stepping in your shoes. This is your job, gentlemen, has been complete. You have served well and truly, and that will forever last. So it's for us to go on to the next level. Okay? All right. Thanks, folks. All right, we have updates from the superintendent.
So just a couple of things. I guess I'll start out with, since it's an evening of celebration, just my personal thanks to the board, but also the administrative team, to Dr. Rue, to Mr. Chuddy, and to Brian Simon, and the rest of the principals, assistant principals. You always looked out for the district's best interest. You always had my back. You always had great constructive discourse. We didn't always agree, but that was because we always put the students' best interest in front of everything else. And I just want to thank you as I kind of reach the end of my journey here, that I can't imagine a better ending and a better place to kind of bring it to a closure. And that includes all of our teachers and our non-instructional staff. We started out my journey in the fall of 17, and we talked about everyone every day, and it was not just about the teachers and the teaching assistants, but it's about our bus drivers and our food service workers and our technology people and our transportation and everywhere in between, because every time I send an email out and I try to specifically list everybody, I always inevitably leave somebody out. So tonight, I hope that I'm not leaving anybody out. My gratitude is to everyone who puts together. If you remember that first day we talked about, just like it being a movie, it takes a lot of people to put together a great production from the front end to the back end, and I truly mean that. And I just want to thank all of you, and a personal additional thanks to Mr. Chuddy and Dr. Rood for kind of being my, Diane was my right arm, they're my two left arms, and always being there to kind of course, when we made decisions, if it didn't sound like it was going to be a great decision, always let me know that there might be some other alternative to think about, and I greatly appreciate that. We've grown together, we have friendships, and they're lifelong. So thank you, and Lisa, I wish you nothing but the best. You'll get a taste of being a superintendent very soon, and a mentor of mine once said, it's the best job you'll ever have 3 out of 5 days a week, and so that is the truth. And the one thing I think new superintendents don't understand is that the job never ends. It is truly, you're always on. So be prepared for that. Do a lot of self-care and make sure you find balance in your work as well, because we're good to no one without our help. And I want to make sure that everybody realizes that you need to put yourself first. So thank you for my 7 years here and the end of my career. I am so grateful. I guess with that, oh yeah, absolutely. Thank you, John. Let's leave it out that we were there for each other, all of us. So just in way of, just a small update, because we did have some inquiries. In terms of the construction project, I wanted just a kind of a brief update. And Mr. Charlie, please join me. So I know it's been a little confusing, and we had a little bit of a curveball with not having a general contractor bid the first time around. I think at the last board meeting, I hope I can't remember, sometimes the date is in there, but we did, secure a GC. The project is moving forward. It's a little bit different than what we've expected. In terms of time frame, because of the lateness of the awards, we will only be doing a limited amount of work this summer, and most of the rest of the work will take place in the summer of 25 and 26. With that said, for the high school folks, there are a couple things happening here. You already started seeing some equipment being staged in the parking lot. We said nothing before the Wednesday graduation, but at least there's only one small thing. The roofing materials will start showing up on Thursday, and you're gonna see a lot of activity happening by the end of the week. But we are replacing the roof here, which is desperately needed. They are going to do 2 of the 3 bathrooms this summer, so when you come back, 2 of the bathrooms will be refreshed. And then they're going to be working on the ethos, the exterior of the high school. So it is limited in scope. We are not doing any of the interior classrooms. There was some speculation in the last week or 2 that they might be able to squeeze that in, but there is just not enough time. So we'll have plenty of time to plan for that, next year's administration, to plan for that for the following summer. I did want to continue just to make a little bit of a commentary about Proposition 2. Proposition 2, if you recall, was the community's generous support to put air conditioning at MED. We knew all along that even if the project had gone as planned, that would not start until this summer and would not be completed until next summer. We would not have air in MED until the fall of 25. Although there's some people in the community that they understand that we approve a budget, we approve a capital project in 23, and that, we're going to have it very soon. As you have heard me previously report, because of the lack of flexibility we have in the construction window, that we predominantly in schools that don't have a lot of space only have 8 weeks in each of the summers, the bids for the Proposition 2 did not come in any close to budget or being favorable to do the work as we had intended. For whatever those reasons are, the facilities committee, the new superintendent, soon to be our assistant superintendent for business, will have to figure out the plan forward. So I want to make sure the community understood that it has not been abandoned, but the voters approved a discrete amount of money, and right now, given the current circumstances, we cannot move forward with that project without it being re-envisioned. What that looks like, I'm urging patience in the community for the committee to be able to kind of pull that apart and see what is feasible in the future. I know that the desire of the community and of the staff and of the administration and of the board is that, especially given the events of the last few weeks, we know that it can get pretty hot in our buildings, and we're certainly speculating a little bit that the district will do everything within their power and within their reach to make sure that at some point that's addressed in the coming year. So I just want to give everyone a quick update about that. And at that, I want to thank Jenna for being a wonderful student on the board. If you've read anything, districts across the state are going to be required to have a student representative. I at least know that if there was a student representative on the board when Cheryl was here, we'd have to be at 15 years and counting. So the district was way ahead of that game in hearing student voice, and it's been wonderful. So congratulations on being a valedictorian, and we wish you nothing but the best in your college and career. So thank you for that. And I'll entertain any questions you might have if I've left anything out.
I have one. Just to confirm, none of the funds that were voted on for Proposition 2 are being used.
Thank you, Chris. That is a very important distinction. That money has not been spent. No debt has been issued against it. It just sits there as an approval right now. So the facilities committee and the board will have an opportunity to figure out if that project can be perhaps re-envisioned for the current amount, or whether you need a little additional money to make that come to fruition. But absolutely, to ease the taxpayers' fine, nothing has been allocated for that project. Right. So no debt has been incurred, no debt service.
I have a question about that project. So, I understand the swing space constraint.
Mhm.
But we are going ahead with some of the remediation on the flooring and such. No, that was.
No, we're currently not doing any work outside the scope of the high school. So because,
Okay,
so right now, none of the, asbestos floor tiling, at MED, HVAC, the lintels at the middle school, or any of the, siding at the bus garage or updates internal, none of that is part of this current proposition. All of it focuses on the high school scope at this point.
Okay.
There was something else while you were talking too that I was thinking about, that escaped me.
well, I was just thinking if those things were not happening at the same time, it would really change the, the nature of the space needs.
Right.
Um,
Well, that's what I want to say. And Kristen was very helpful. Sometimes you say no too quickly, but, out of necessity comes different opportunities and ideas. And so, again, I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but, I think when the committee comes together, the facilities committee, the administration, and kind of a think tank about Proposition 2, we have some new emerging ideas of how we might be able to indeed create a swing space. Because what we've been told by the architects and construction managers is if we are able to expand that construction window from 8 weeks to perhaps 16 weeks or 20 weeks, we might be able to, bring down the cost of labor on that project to be more in line with our budget. So I think some new ideas have emerged. It's just going to take some time to really plan that out and see if those will, turn into meaningful cost savings. So. Anything else?
Okay.
The second item, which I'm not, as I look at it, I'm not quite sure why it's under superintendent's reports, but, and Fred, you can certainly do this as well. The board generally looks at the board handbook once a year. This is just a placeholder to let you know that it's attached and that you should be taking a peek at that. I know you're going to be doing some work in a board workshop this summer and, also potentially approving this version of the handbook at the July meeting. So this was just an opportunity for you to kind of put it on your radar screens.
Yeah, and if I can have everybody, shoot to have that done by the July 9th meeting. We're already in discussion with Isabel about, our board retreat. And we're gonna use that as the cornerstone. Okay.
The handbook's in public, right?
It's on there, it's,
If it's not, it will be by the end of tomorrow morning. It's a public document,
I think it should be public.
but it's not there yet, but we'll make sure it's there by tomorrow morning.
You
In fact,
want us to have that
it's,
reviewed before it's posted?
It's been in
Well-
public before. I just wanted to make sure it was easier to.
yeah,
find.
it's a public document. You haven't made any changes to it, so I don't see any reason why it can't be. It's a readily available document, so.
Okay.
Oh,
Because our retreat this year is gonna be run through NISBA and based on the board, that board document, the handbook. If everybody could just take a perusal of it before the July 9th. And then on July 9th, tell me if there's anything that you feel needs to be revised or anything like that, and we can go ahead and have NISBA start working. Well, yeah, we'll have some, I'll probably send out a calendar, to get everybody's free time.
and then just moving on, we talked about this at the last meeting. This is just the official re-adoption of next year's calendar. This small change represents the fact that since we're not doing construction, a tremendous amount of construction this summer, we have backed off on having the first 3 days of the school year be professional development days. We went back to only 2, and we've taken that 3rd day and put it back on election day. So that's what this calendar does. It readopts a calendar you adopted initially in April to recognize that change. And with that, I would like to turn it over to Dr. Rude as I think our last section of the superintendent report.
I just wanted to give my gratitude for, first of all, welcoming me into your community. It's very hard for me to leave Chatham. And when I think about the relationships that I've formed and how much I've learned, from so many different people, it's what I take with me to, bring to another community. I have so much gratitude. When we, as educators, come in, it's a service that, we're service oriented, and I'm very humble that you allowed me to serve in your community. And I thank you for that. I wanted to just give a quick thank you to Sal, because he's the one that brought me here. And and I also wanted to thank Deb too, because no one's thanked Deb tonight. And if you were going to pair me with a single person, she's absolute consummate professional and the perfect person to help me succeed. Beyond the leadership team and teachers, and thank you for working with me. I'm very grateful for the board. Learning from you, and really learning what your role entails. And it's what I think a lot of people don't understand about your role. It really impactful and meaningful for me. So thank you for coming and for serving us, and for being human and bringing your knowledge to the table. Thank you so much.
Your new district is very fortunate to have.
Mr. President, simply because I think it's in the consent agenda and I don't want to have it lost on just an approval. I would just like to make two other comments. One, I would like to thank the board for changing Mr. Chuddy's title to Assistant Superintendent for Business. I think it's well deserved, and I compliment the board for recognizing that. He's an amazingly talented individual, brilliant in the financial, in his financial thinking, and he's been such a great asset to the district and to my leadership. And second, I want to also congratulate him on and be the first to say that he's the perfect bridge between the current administration and the future administration. And so I want to wish him nothing but the best in his interim superintendency coming up starting next Monday.
You say?
Not you.
With me, although I'll be here.
All right. All right, so we're gonna we're gonna do policy first reading on the 7,000s.
Not 7,000.
The 7,000 series, part of the 8,000 series, and a few on the 4,000 series. Those of you who have been watching this mini-series over the past few years, it has taken a lot of effort to go through an entire board policy manual. And I believe that it was started 2 years ago, and it's now streaming on Netflix. Wednesday season 2 and board policy final season. So thank you, Marianne, for picking up the ball and running with it. You've done an excellent job. I will turn this over to you.
All right, well, thank you, but I can't say that it was just me. Pat Wilson did an amazing job, and Rachel Gowan's been helping me, just doing amazing work, helping us carry the ball here. So where we're at, we finished going through everything. We discovered there's some policies that we did not have that is required by the state. We have 3. One of them is called availability of alternative format instructional materials for students with disabilities. The next one is a public report on revisions to district policies, practices, and procedures upon a finding of significant disproportionality. That is a mouthful. And graduation ceremonies. Apparently you have to actually have a policy on graduation ceremonies. So we just took the NISBA ones. They had all the legal languages that we needed and there was nothing. We looked at them that screamed that this is not Chatham. So those are the ones, we're just gonna adopt those and then subsequent years, if we need to make changes, we will make changes. So there's a couple of policies that NISBA did a much better job of communicating the policy, diagnostic screening of students, timeout and physical restraint, which there is new laws regarding that language. So we just, to stay on the right side of the law, we just went ahead and adopted what they had. Brian Simon did a great job of looking at all of these policies and telling us whether it was actual practice or, making sure it aligned with what Chatham actually does. Brian Simon did a lot of work with this, so shout out to him too. And then independent educational evaluations is the other one. We're just taking the NISBA language. They did a much better job. Two policies that, we did a lot of merging. We had a lot of little policies here and there that you could put under one umbrella. So that was student health services and students with disabilities. We just looked and made sure that we had everything that we needed to have, that we didn't miss anything, put them in under like 1/10 and then kept out the ones that actually had to be standalones. And we have one brand new policy. It's regarding child abuse. Chatham's original policy, child abuse and maltreatment, just kind of covered only in a domestic setting. NISBA had one for an educational setting. Just to have like the legal process out there, we decided to adopt that policy as well. And the rest of them were just minor editing, refining actual practice. You can go through them all if you want to, but those were the highlights of the ones that you might want to take a look at. But, that's it for policy for now.
Were those new ones all policies that came up during the NISBA review or some of them subsequent to that?
Those were all in review. That was at the very beginning of the statement that we had.
Yeah.
But you didn't look at that. I mean, it was like, here's the ones you might want to have. And then by the time we finish up, we're like, oh, hey, there, they said it right at the beginning. Yes, we did need that. But we went through the process and made sure that we didn't have it newly written somewhere in one of our policies. But no, we do need those three.
Yeah, and Pat, of course, is working on the policies for several years, but that review, this review you're working on right now, I think it's been even more than 2 years. So I think
Yeah.
a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, one of the things that people don't realize, I guess, with this is there are some places that would just say, okay, we're gonna take our policies and replace them with NISBA policies. But so many of our policies are really community based. They have language that is attributable to Chatham and the spirit of Chatham. The work you did was to go through each of these, make sure that we weren't losing our sense of self. So none of this was cookie cutter. It was quite a bit of work. And I think, having witnessed a lot of it, I think you did a great job.
So the next step is, since NISBA is our provider for policy updates, we get updates all the time, every quarter. They are going to take our package of policies and they're going to renumber it in their numbering system so that when we get a new policy, they can look at it and say, oh, hey, you're missing this. And it's just going to make sense. So it's going to be, again, another learning curve. We're not going to be able to have it set up the way we do currently. But that's policy committee be working on presenting that to everyone to make it, so they understand where everything
That's
is.
essentially just a sequencing. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
This package is that's the remainder of the first readings. Is that right?
Yeah.
So when are we doing second, do you think? July 9?
Yeah, so we missed our,
We didn't make the end of the year.
Marianne had a deadline for herself for the end of the year. It's
All right.
not a legal deadline, but
So we're gonna do second July 9th and probably before the end of the summer we'll adopt and then we'll renumber. Is that right?
yeah, I think that's probably on track, yeah. Well, that's the second reading, so we can gavel in some of these. But if we have any questions or anything like that, yeah.
My hope is that we could hand that package to NISBA to give them the summer to get the numbering. Renumbered.
Usually we don't always, we can adopt after the second, but what may end up happening, if there's any feedback after tonight's reading.
Right.
We won't really have a chance, like if you do an amendment, right? Anything that gets amended after tonight probably should get pulled out so that
Right.
it doesn't get tangled in with the other ones that didn't need an amendment.
I mean, we can
Okay.
do what we need to do. The goal is to get it to NISBA, so they have the summer, so that we're walking into our
Yeah.
new year with everything
And I think,
nice and.
did we already
neat.
pay for the renumber? We didn't. Okay.
Are there ghosts in the building or?
There's. It's.
That's bizarre.
I asked if there was ghosts that stopped, so.
The only thing I was gonna mention is, and this came from a previous board, and I think Matt brought it up, is, and then at some point in that process, then once the new policies are adopted, you will be comfortable in rescinding all of the old policies too. So you'll have a resolution. You brought up a good point, Matt. We couldn't rescind some of them because we didn't have replacement language ready to go. So at some point, that will have to be done too. That's an easy.
Okay. Debbie, I don't have to do anything else with that, right?
Yeah.
All right, can I have a motion to approve the agreement? So I'll read this. Be resolved that the Board of Education of the Chatham Central School District hereby approve the agreement dated July 1, 2024, setting forth the terms and conditions governing Michael Chuddy's employment as interim superintendent and authorizes payment thereafter. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Any questions? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
May I have a motion to approve the MOA with the Principals Association, the memorandum of agreement dated May 22nd, 2024, providing for the admittance of non-resident children without payment of tuition.
Motion.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
May I have a motion to approve the MOA with CCSTA? The Board of Education hereby approves the agreement between, by and between the Chatham Teachers Association and the Chatham Central School District dated June 25th, 2024, and approves the payment of the money contained therein.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
May I have a motion to approve the agreement with Siena College for student teaching and or fieldwork experience for the term of June 13th, 2024 through June 30th, 2027. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions?
I have a question.
Yeah.
That's a renewal, right? Unchanged?
I believe so, yes. Right, Sal, that's an unchanged renewal? No, this is a new program. Yeah,
This
please.
is, so if you, University of Clarkson's program was sold to
Right.
Sienna.
That's
I don't know if you want to make comments about.
So we have a teacher who is a resident through for our TESOL students. Well, she's a TA and she will serve as a resident next year. It's through Sienna, but we also, this is also in conjunction with the Department of Labor grants, so that we can pay a stipend to her. So it is a great program that we hope we can follow with to build more of our own, of our aides and TAs to bring them to capacity of teacher within our district.
And this was once a Clarkson program that's now a Siena program.
That's correct.
So Matt, it's a new program, but it replaces an older arrangement, I think.
This is the first time that
We didn't do the Clarkson program either.
we had not, well, But we have to-
It's Clarkson has had the program for a couple of years. I was in their first cohort.
Mhm.
But Clarkson decided to do away with the program. Sienna picked up the program. So the program has been in existence for years. The Department of Labor, the grant is separate and
Okay.
different and new.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
That answer your question, Matt?
Yep.
Okay, may I have a motion?
We already did that.
Oh, we
All in
voted on
favor?
it too? Okay. Oh, did I do that yet? All in favor? Thank you.
Aye.
Aye. Motion to approve leave of absence for Susan Lutz. Hereby approve that the Chatham Central School District hereby approve the request of Susan Lutz for an unpaid leave of absence from her position as teaching assistant for the purpose of participating in a teacher residency program for the 2024-25 school year. Be it further resolved that Ms. Lutz shall receive a stipend in accordance with the terms of the teacher residency program through the Department of Labor. This is what Dr. Wu just explained. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion to approve fee sharing agreement with the town of Ghent. That the Board of Education approved a fee sharing agreement with the town of Ghent. Is this the Price Chopper spot? Yes. This is for the old Price Chopper which now seems to be thriving with new business. May I have a motion? Okay. Does anybody have a question on this? Had conversations about it. Okay,
Second.
thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to designate withdrawn middle school library materials for disposal. This is pretty standard at this point. These are presented by Donna Eager, librarian, to be eligible for disposal in accordance with board policy. May I have a motion?
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It has come time to administer the oath of office to the interim superintendent, Mr. Michael Chuddy.
Have you repeat after me? Okay. I do solemnly affirm
I do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of the interim superintendent
of the office of the interim superintendent
according to the best of my abilities.
according to the best of my abilities.
That's it. You're all set. Signature. Thank you.
Congratulations, Mike. Thanks for doing this for us.
Wait, I want to give him my keys. Hang on a second.
You're still here. All right, motion to accept the consensus agenda L through N. Are there any questions on the agenda?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
We are down to future agenda items. Does anybody on the board have anything for future agenda? Okay. We are back to our second public comment. This public comment is specifically related to anything that was on the agenda from this evening.
We have 4, we had 7 at one point.
No public comment? You got anybody online, sir?
No hands.
Sandy? All right, that was a dense meeting, but we're out.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, please. May I have a second? All right, we do not have an executive session scheduled for this evening. Do we? I know. Wow. All right, may I have a motion to do it, all in favor? That's it. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, adjourned.
We're still punching cookies.
There's cookies and lunch.